show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's July 28th, 2021. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined once again by Matt Shodell, our managing editor. He's been taking a lot of vacations lately, but I think he's here for the duration now. We got training camp starting next week. It's going to get really busy. So vacation time for us here at CaneSport is about over, Matt. And a lot to talk about today, as usual. Let me start with CaneSport's big news this morning. It's our second NIL announcement of the week. Monday, we announced that we were going to have a weekly blog with Mike Harley on CaneSport.com throughout the football season. Today, we're announcing that we're also going to have a second weekly blog on CaneSport.com, this one with Tyreek Stevenson, the great cornerback who transferred from Georgia, who's going to be a starter on one side, most likely, and going to be obviously a key cog in the Hurricane defense this year. So we got the Harley blog, the Stevenson blog, and we're not done yet. We've got more NIL news coming your way here in the very near future. We're trying to take you guys inside the Canes football team and this NIL. The evolution of NIL is giving us an opportunity to bring you guys unique content that we've never been able to give you before. And we're really excited about being affiliated with these two kids, not just because of the opportunity with NIL, but because of how great they both are. And Matt, I'll let you chime in on that. Mike Harley, a guy that we've covered since he was in high school, one of the highest character kids that I've seen in recent years at Miami. I commented about it Monday. He's the guy that is always going full speed in every drill. He just jumps out at you all the time when you have the opportunity to be out at practice. And obviously, he finally got to perform in games the second half of last year. And Tyreek was the guy that we loved covering when he was in high school. Obviously, it was disappointing that he went to Georgia. Now he's come full circle back home and is going to be a Hurricane this year. So I think it's a great opportunity for the fans, Matt, to get insight from these two high-quality kids.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm most excited about isn't even necessarily the insight. It's I know these kids, both of them, from covering them all the way back from high school. And, I mean, fans don't really get to see the personalities. College football sort of dumbed it down for fans everywhere. Like it used to be in the old days. You go to a Miami Hurricanes football practice and you go up and down the bench and you get a one-on-one after any practice with any player you wanted. You go in the locker room after a game, talk to anybody you wanted to. Now, as fans know, there's these press conferences, that they have for everybody, and that's about it. It's just, everybody gets the same players at the same time, and they all get the same thing, and the players are sort of generic. So now finally fans can, because of NIL, which is crazy, fans can get to know these kids and their personalities. I mean, we're going to be talking to them. You're going to see them and what they say and how they respond and how they engage. And it's going to be great. It's not them, getting hammered with questions from, 10 or 15 different reporters. It's going to be us having a conversation with them, and they know us personally, and it's going to be great. I mean, yeah, you're going to get insight on the team, but you're also going to get to see that these aren't just football players. These are young men, who are very intelligent, very well spoken, and who wanted to write by the program and for their families and for the fans. And it's going to be great.
Yeah, very exciting. I mean, we're just happy to be able to provide everybody with some unique content that hopefully will be interesting and fun and support the players at the same time. It's like we've been blessed, Matt. We've been you've been with me, almost the entire 30 years, it seems.
You've been with me for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, more of that than the other way. But we've been doing CaneSport for 30 years and have obviously gotten to cover so many great players. It's fun for us to have the opportunity now to support these guys a little bit. And thanks to the fans that are participating with us through our GoFundMe account and allowing us to get very aggressive with NIL and do a lot of deals. And we're not even close to being done yet obviously with these. We got more coming, one after the other here in the coming weeks and months and hopefully years. And it's nice to be able to support these kids because it really helps them at this stage of their life to have a few extra bucks if they want to take a girl out, if they want to go get an extra meal, if they want to go to a club during the off season only, not during the season, but just like the different things that college kids like to do. It's nice for them to have a few extra bucks in their pocket. The greatest thing about NIL is every Miami player is getting to participate, and we're happy to be part of that and continue to be. All right. So much other things to talk about today. I want to start with a recruiting story because I think this is just so interesting. There's a school over in Clearwater Academy, and we brought the story yesterday of an offensive lineman by the name of Isaiah Hastings, who was offered by Miami Friday, immediately jumped in a car on Monday, and came to do an unofficial visit on campus. So that was a great story. And that was a couple days ago. Well, now there's an additional story coming out of the same school. Hastings, by the way, is from Canada. Now there's another story coming out of the same school, which is sort of like a magnet for international students. And this guy is from Sweden. Lucas Simmons, another offensive lineman, he also has visited Miami. So Miami going to Clearwater in search of these offensive linemen. Both have had unofficial visits here this week. And Matt, I like it. It's conjuring up images for me of the days when Art Kehoe used to go all over the place looking for offensive linemen. And that went very well for the Hurricanes. Maybe this will too.
Yeah, well, he went to Canada is where Art kept going. I think Romberg, Sherko, a couple other guys. But but yeah, I mean, it is an international school, and there are very good international players. The kid we wrote about, the story actually was put out yesterday late in the day. But basically his dad played at Oklahoma. The dad got an opportunity to play in Sweden, and they wound up living there. And he just moved to the States a month ago, and got a lot of offers already. He's going to be, he's going to be a big time kid. He's a 2023 recruit with a lot of offers already. Miami's one of them. So it's nice to see kids getting these opportunities. Miami noticing these kids, not just local kids. I mean, you look at the kids that are coming on board in this class, it's not the local stars, right? They're going national and maybe even international. So, that's the way it was back in the old days. So yeah, I do like that. At the same time, you got to get the local kids now, right, to hop on board at some point. It just seems like these Miami kids want to wait a while to commit to Miami for whatever reason. But I do like how things are looking in terms of how they're recruiting.
All right, it's been a few days since the Canes got the commitment from linebacker Justin Medlock of Texas. We had our analyst, T. Frank, grinding in the film room the last several days, and he emerged with a pretty glowing review of Justin Medlock, which is on the site this morning. You'll see it. He felt that speed was a big element here, that Medlock really jumps off the screen with his speed and explosiveness, and believes that once he gets into a college strength and conditioning program, puts on a little weight and gets a little bigger, that he's going to be a real high-quality linebacker for Manny Diaz. So that story's on the site. You guys will enjoy that one. T. Frank always brings it with his analysis. Great new addition to our staff this year. I hope you've been enjoying his Real Talk work. If you've missed any of them, if you go down the front page at CaneSport.com, you'll see a subheading for the Real Talk series, and you can just click over there, and all the Real Talk features will line up for you, and you can go back and watch those. This guy's really good. Probably maybe the best analyst we've ever had at CaneSport. We're really happy with him, and you'll enjoy his work. So the Justin Medlock breakdown is on the site this morning. We also have a continuation of our 2021 preview series. Today we take a look at a Virginia team, Matt, that really could be a little bit better than people think. They've been a little bit down last year, I would say, even though they were somewhat competitive in the game against the Hurricanes. But this is a team that has picked up some good transfers, that has some quality players there, and can be a dangerous opponent in the ACC. Yeah,
I mean, look, Virginia, it just always seems, I mean, maybe not the last, maybe 2 of the last 3 years has been on easier wins. But historically, Virginia just seems to give Miami trouble, even when they're not very good, or average. And I think if there's a team I had to pick to be the surprise in the Coastal, I mean, everyone knows Miami will be good, everyone knows North Carolina will be good, and then it's just like everybody else, and Duke and Georgia Tech are going to be bad. But if there's a team I'm going to pick as a surprise, it's probably Virginia. I don't think Virginia Tech's going to be real good. Georgia Tech has a chance to be a surprise team just because there's such low expectations, but I don't think they'll be as good as Virginia. So if there's a number 3 team in the conference, in the Coastal that I'm worried about, it's probably Virginia. And it's one of those sneaky games, right, where Miami is not maybe going to take it like, this is as tough a team as North Carolina, and they may not be, but you better treat it that way, because for Virginia, this is as big a game as they're going to have in the Coastal, So it's going to be real interesting to see. And it's interesting you mentioned the transfers, because this is something that has changed the dynamic of college football. And when you're trying to predict now and say this team will be good, this team won't be very good, this team will have 5 wins, this team will have 8 wins, whatever, like it's just hard to tell how transfers are really going to fit in, because you see how they are with one program and you try to project how they're going to be with a new program. But sometimes all the new programs missing is a couple of players. Like picture Miami last year with a couple of really good linebacker transfers that panned out, right? That would have been a much different looking defense. When you have those stud ends, you had Nesta inside. Now if you add and you had Bubba Bolden in the back end. Now if you add a couple of really good linebacker transfers that panned out, I mean, that's going to be one of the best defenses in the ACC. And it was not one of a good defense in the ACC. So some of these teams are just a couple of players away that pan out from really being a lot better than people think. So, it's interesting you mentioned the transfers, because I think that's the big question mark for a lot of these teams.
All right. Also a story today on a basketball recruit, Daniel Skillings, who's considering Miami. So, trying to give basketball a little love. And the coaches have been on the road recruiting really hard the last few weeks. Still no final word on Jalen Darren. We're still waiting on that one. That will be program altering if they can land him to come in to this year's team. But you get an update on Daniel Skillings, who's a kid from the Northeast who Miami has been on. And then we're on commit watch here today. Ballpark, 1:00 Eastern. Isaiah Horton, big receiver from the Tennessee area that we've featured quite often on CaneSport.com. He's going to be announcing his commitment, and that one is going to have Hurricane fans' attention, Matt. He's had a great recruitment by Miami. I know I've future casted him to the Canes a while back. I'm expecting this one, to go well. But Isaiah Horton could be a real key part of this recruiting class if it all comes together later today.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I expect him to be a Hurricane. And, his coach compared him to Terrell Owens. I mean, this is a guy who I think he's 6'5". He's got speed. He's got physicality. I mean, Terrell Owens, obviously, it's a stretch to compare any high school kid to an all-pro and all that. But at the same time, it gives fans an idea like, okay, that's the type of player he is. And that's the type of player Miami needs, because you see them getting all these little guys and little speed guys. Miami needs a big physical presence on the outside, that can run by people, out-muscle people, out-jump people, like Andre Johnson comes to mind for me. Like Andre Johnson was a guy who just nobody could match up with, because he was faster than you, he was stronger than you, and, there was nothing you could do. Like, there was no one you could put on him to stop him. They need a guy like that, Mike Harley, as good as he is not that guy. Charleston Rambo's not going to be that guy. Those are just speed guys. So this could be a guy that is multidimensional, in that kind of a role. And I think a guy like that in Rhett Lashley's offense is going to be almost unstoppable. So if he pans out the way that, that his coach thinks he might, and that I think Miami coaches are probably just as high on him, it could be an exciting addition to the class later today if that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. I'll say in anybody's offense, because I don't know if Rhett Lashley will be here the entire time to coach Isaiah Horton all the way through. But yeah, I think a big receiver like this is obviously a huge asset in any offense. So we're looking forward to that announcement today. We'll obviously have it all covered for you at CaneSport.com.